My 34F identical twin sister, 34F, is upset that I'm pregnant. What can I do? When I told my twin sister about my pregnancy, at first she seemed happy, but the next day she sent me a long, angry message saying she felt unimportant and hurt because I haven't been communicating enough. I tried reassuring her that she was still important to me, but she kept accusing me of excluding her. I need advice. I told my twin sister that I was pregnant, first time I'm 13 WKs, and she first said congratulations and that it was exciting news. The next day she sent me a giant text saying that I haven't been communicating to her, that if I don't want to see her or want space, I can just say, and that she feels really unimportant and hurt. I replied that she is still very important to me. I'm sorry she is hurt, but that she is a big part of my life and nothing will change. I assumed she was feeling insecure or threatened. She then sent me another long, angry message about how I don't communicate. I don't want to see her apparently or visit. I'm choosing not to tolerate her or include her, and she can't do anything unless I change how I behave. A few things for context. We live in different states. Our own mother left us when we were 14. Our parents had us when they were 20 years old, and my dad was not around much. She has a heightened sense of rejection and a huge fear of abandonment and some really unhealthy patterns. She has been festering on this and warped all these events and weaved them together to make it some story about how I am horrible and haven't been treating her properly. She complained that she attended my wedding and helped my now husband pick out a ring, and this is how I'm treating her. It makes zero sense. She is saying I am excluding her, but literally complaining about times she has been included. We have been communicating, probably less than usual because I usually am responsible for initiating most of our contact, and I have been less proactive lately because I have been dealing with my own feelings. I don't know what to do. I want to shut this down because these back and forth via messenger are hurtful and just feeds her pattern. I truly feel there's nothing I can say to make her feel better, and I just have to let her process this and ride it out. It's really hurtful to me though. I have done nothing wrong in my own opinion, and she said it has nothing to do with the pregnancy, yet she blew up the day after I told her. She is being so irrational and unreasonable from my end, and it hurts that this is how she has chosen to react. I'm so sick of her treating me like garbage when she wants to, and I'm sick of having to be the parent in this relationship. She has not once voiced concerns about the frequency of my communication with her over the last month or so, or asked if anything's going or comment that I seem quiet, etc. I don't know what to do here. I feel like I can't win, and she just wants to be angry and view me like this. Does anyone have any suggestions for what I can say, or has anyone been through something similar with a sibling relative? Also to add, I found out at 8 weeks. I had a really stressful month prior because my MIL passed unexpectedly, and it was just really hard on my husband who loved her very much. So the timing of the news was hard to process. My sister knew about my MIL. I think I knew deep down she wasn't going to just be happy for me, and I needed to process my own feelings and circumstances before I dealt with hers. Just to add in response to a few comments, this is not the first time she has blown up, and it's not just me. She has this pattern with me and whoever she is in a relationship with. It was really bad with her last partner for 7 years, and every visit I have made to her there has been similar incidents with her current boyfriend. E.g., her boyfriend said their mutual friend has a date with someone, and she asked who, and he said this cute girl from rock climbing, and she lost it. She was so angry and said if she prefers girls at rock climbing then he should be with them, etc. It made no sense. They had the fight in the Uber, and I was unfortunately in the middle seat between them. This is one small example, but I could see from her boyfriend response her patterns have continued. To be clear, I love my sister. When she broke up with her boyfriend of 7 years, we saw each other about 8 times that year because I know she needed the support. She stayed with me and my husband for several long weekends and holidays, and I always made sure we were spending tons of one time together and doing things she enjoyed. I knew that she was not going to have a normal response to my pregnancy, and I'm sad she is reacting in a way that is stressing me out so much. Relevant comments. Commenter: I think it's time to call her out on this. You say I don't communicate and exclude you, but I'm the one who makes the phone calls for us to talk. I'm the one initiating contact. If you want more contact and communication, then you need to do your part and call me instead of waiting for me to call you. If she keeps arguing, tell her you're done with the conversation and it's time to change the subject, and if she can't do that right now, then you'll be getting off the phone, and she can call you when she's ready to talk about something else. Put the ball in her court. If she wants things to change, she needs to do the work. Commenter: she angry because the baby will be the focus now instead of her. She's jealous of the baby instead of being excited about a nephew or niece. It's all about her. She needs therapy to help her with the abandonment issues, and possibly medication too, because I think she may have more going on. Either way, she has to either find a way to get over herself and be happy for OP and the new life she's bringing into this world, or step back and let OP enjoy her pregnancy and motherhood in peace. Commenter, it sounds like she's offended that she was part of the safe to tell everyone because we're out of the first trimester group and not the I just found out and this is my immediate support crew announcement. In general, the wait 12 weeks rule is for most people. Obviously, the mother usually loops in their partner much sooner, and in many cases they have two other people who they tell for practical reasons or because they trust their discretion and want their support in the first trimester. It seems your sister is hurt that you didn't want her help and/or didn't trust her discretion for that time period. You didn't do anything wrong. Many people just tell their partner, and if there are others, it may be people that are less emotionally tied into the pregnancy than a family member would be, because they'd be less emotionally affected in the event something went wrong and could be a stronger source of support. She is entitled to her feelings, but she's not entitled to take them out on you because she was not owed anything. Story 2. AITA for telling my brother that maybe he's getting a visit from karma. I have a brother who was laid off his software job almost a year ago. He hasn't found anything yet and has been crying on LinkedIn for people to help him. He tried Uber and food delivery and hated it. I told him months ago to dumb down his resume for either retail or fast food, and he still uses his tech resume because he thinks it impresses people. After a year of searching, it clearly doesn't. He's asking me to move in because he has to sell his home before it goes into foreclosure. I told him no because he has always looked down on me getting married and neither of us having fancy tech jobs with benefits. My wife thinks my brother is an arrogant player because when he was at the height of his career, he would always bring his latest flavor of the month around, and my wife had to pretend to be nice but not get too close to these women because she knew how my brother was. I told my brother that he just needs to get a small apartment. He said cheaper apartments are now like $2,500 a month, and he's just throwing that money away at that point. I told him my family life is crazy with the 3 kids, and it would be crazy to have him move in with all his stuff. My brother thought her could buy a shed and store some things in the garage until he gets on his feet. He told me the commute is going to be crazy from my place, but I have to understand he has already weighed the pros and cons and he can make it work. I told him I weighed the pros and cons and it's not going to, so when he sells his home he needs to find another place to live because he's not moving in with me. He told me he'd remember this because I didn't help him when he was down and at his lowest. I told him I don't remember him ever helping us at our lowest, so maybe my brother is getting a visit from karma. Relevant comments. Commenter, NTA. But based on the way you talk about him in this post, it also sounds like you don't like your brother. I'm kinda wondering why he thought you'd let him move in with you in the first place. Commenter, YTA. I already know I'll get downvoted, so go ahead. Look, you have every right not to let him move in with you. That's fair. You have your own family to worry about. But your question is whether or not you are the AH for telling him that he is getting a visit from karma. Yes, you are. And you know you are, which is why you are asking the question. A non-AH response to his equally wrong and out-of-line comment would be, I'm sorry you feel that way. I wish I could help, but I really can't. Instead, you elected shove a knife in and twist it. Whether or not your brother deserves this is immaterial. One is an asshole based on one's own actions. Your actions were poor. Story 3. AIT for wanting to cut ties with my abusive mother after she forced an abortion on my girlfriend. My 32M mother has been emotionally abusive and manipulative my entire life. I've always craved a family of my own and finally found a woman I wanted to build that with. When my girlfriend became pregnant, I was overjoyed. Unfortunately, I had to go away for work for a few weeks. While I was gone, my mother systematically guilt-tripped and manipulated my girlfriend into having an abortion. She used every tactic in her arsenal, telling her I wasn't ready to be a father, that it would ruin my life, that she wasn't good enough to be a mother, and even threatened to cut me off if we kept the baby. My girlfriend, already insecure and vulnerable due to the pregnancy, crumbled under the pressure. When I returned, I was devastated to learn about the abortion. My relationship with my girlfriend fell apart soon after. The heartbreak and betrayal is still unbearable. I confronted my mother, but she denied everything and played the victim. I've reached my limit. I can't forgive her for what she did. I'm planning to cut off all contact, but I'm getting a lot of pushback from other family members like my sister who say I'm being too harsh and that she's still my mother. Aita for wanting to break all ties with her. Edit. I want to be clear that I'm not blaming my ex-girlfriend for the abortion. She was manipulated and emotionally coerced by my mother at a vulnerable time. I understand the immense pressure she was under. Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. I'd go fucking nuclear. Send her a big-ass gift, worth very little but huge, for every birthday your child would have had on the due date. Think huge teddy bears with giant bows. Deliver them to her place of work with, from the darling grandbaby you no longer have. No love anymore, your former child. Every damn birthday, date, things that will be noticed in public. Send her the worst grandmother ever shirts. Think of ways to get someone else to open them and then deliver them to her, opened, so she knows the other person knows what it says. If you want to add some grandmother day and Christmas gifts, go for it. She doesn't want people to know she's old enough to be a grandma. She ruined your life for it. Fuck her over publicly. ETA. A judgment. And if you think your girlfriend would be interested but not emotionally damaged, let her her help you with the gifts. Hell, prepay for the next 10 years for big pink and baby blue bouquets to be delivered to her. Either 8:30, just after she's left for work in the morning, so it sits on her front step all day and everyone can see it, or waiting for her at work. If you have to wait till Monday, or move up the day to Friday, whatever it takes. Master bonus points if you get it delivered to her right as she's leaving church on Sunday. Commenter, I can't imagine what you are going through. Your mother sounds awful. For your own safety and the safety of any future relationship you have, never speak to this woman again. Story 4. Eta for cutting my family off after they tried to defend my dead spouse's memory. I, 34M, have a girlfriend, 31F, of 3 years. Around 2 years before we started dating, my late wife had passed away from a heart attack, and honestly, I'm still in the process of grieving for her. She was the love of my life then, and we were inseparable that way. Now, my current girlfriend is really supportive of me. She understands I am still going through it all, and honestly, I really appreciate it. She's a great woman, has that quiet understanding, and just gets me in a sense, since she lost family members she really cared about at a pretty young age. So I was really lucky to have met her, and I do my best to make sure she feels loved and supported too. Before we got married, I started to notice that her mental health started to deteriorate a little. Like, she got quieter than usual and refuses to talk to me as much. At first, I thought I'd done something wrong and tried to ask her about it, but she wasn't as willing to say anything. It took a lot of digging for her to come clean with me. My family was really fond of my late wife too, and were just as hurt when she passed. Turns out this fucking carried over, and they weren't as pleased with my current relationship. They'd bring up my late wife a lot when she was around family gatherings and all. She told me she didn't mind all that much, but then things started to get weird. That's kind of weird where you think there's something wrong but just wave it off because it's really subtle. But yeah, they'd bring my late wife up and talk about what a great person she was. And honestly, it's true. She was, and I'd wholeheartedly agree with them. I assumed they were just reminiscing. They do this pretty fucking often with dead family. Heck, they never stopped talking about my dead grandfather even till this day, so I never questioned it despite that gut feeling. It turns out they were comparing my current girlfriend and my late one. They're a lot more open about and in her face in my absence. She never really told me because she didn't want to come across as insensitive or cruel. Honestly, I should have just seen it from the start, so I take the asshole claim for this one. I was a massive fucking donkey. After that, I confronted my family about it and they came clean. Save for my mom, most of my family didn't really get why I'm dating my girlfriend. They said I was sullying my late wife's memory because I moved on so fast for her, and I'm just so confused. I never got over her. I don't think I ever will. We were together since college, for crying out loud, and hearing them say that just fucking hurts, especially since they're using her against me like this. I told them to never talk to me again, and I haven't done so till now. It's been half a year at the most at this point. It's still not stopped me from being passed on amongst the family grapevine, and I've had distant relatives ask me why I'd cut them off and that I'm overreacting and being disrespectful. The only one I'm still in contact with is my mother, and considering she's the only one who tried to de-escalate the situation between my relatives and GF, she fully supports me and my GF keeping my space. Even so, I still feel guilty. My family has been nothing but supportive after I lost my wife, and I still care for them, so it hurts cutting them off and being called out like this. But their current attitudes are just horrible, and I won't stand for it, especially since my current girlfriend is someone I'm ready to start a life with and love too. So, Eta for cutting my family off over this. Edit. A user was nice enough to let me know that X was a disrespectful way to call a deceased spouse. Sorry about that. English is not my first language, and I looked up alternatives. Sorry about this. Relevant comments. Commenter. Life is for the living. The fact you found someone so supportive of you is a blessing. It is not disrespectful of your former wife. Commenter. NTA. If they aren't changing their position and aren't willing to change their behavior, then you've put up an appropriate boundary. You should not let your family disrespect your GF, and I'm sure she appreciates that. It does sound like you want to reconnect, so I would let go of expecting an apology and then lay out the ground rules and see if y'all can re-engage. If they choose to ignore your boundary, then you can cut off contact again. It sounds like your mom is seeing things pretty clearly, so I would make sure that she agrees with you that your girlfriend was being disrespected. There is a chance that your girlfriend is being overly sensitive to them talking about your ex-wife. OP. I don't think she is, mostly because, and it has been clarified by my mother, that they brought up pretty sensitive stuff about her when I wasn't around. She tried to wave it off as it being surface level, but they said some really nasty shit. But thank you for the advice. I'm still torn up about it, and honestly, I do veer towards staying no contact. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest ones. Have a great day.